Bilbao. We breasted alongside Five Gone Sailing. This mooring belongs to the tourist board and you get 2 nights for free.
All the Spanish people are just sweating in shorts and a t-shirt. Mummy's wearing loads of extra clothes.
We went to find the tourist office and our vote for the nicest man in Spain. He gave us all the information we needed to go and explore the city. He even let us stay an extra night for free as it was out of season, so no one else had booked in. We went to try and buy a train ticket, but the office was closed for lunch, so we had to try and use these machines.
I've just had a conversation with a lady in Spanish by passing her my phone. She spoke into my phone, it translated it for us. It was perfect, yeah. It's like, what an age we live in.
For those Hitchhikers fans, it's just like putting the fish in your ear. Remember that? The Douglas Adams thing. I forgot what it's called. There's a name for the fish. You guys will know. Comment below. But yeah, in Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they put fishes in their ears to translate from any language.
Being on a multi-country adventure means language will always be a barrier. But luckily, Google Translate can be our guide. We then took the metro into Bilbao and went to see the sights. I absolutely loved the architecture. It was definitely a look-up kind of place. They love eating pig in this country. You get whole shops of dead pig in various forms. We went to the largest market in Bilbao. It was incredible. All fresh, wholesome ingredients, no rustling plastic packet in sight. This has surely got to be a healthier way of life. We had a tapas lunch in the food hall.
This is like the inside of a fish pie, and next to it we've got sausage and mash. So I'm putting the mash on top of the fish, and it's just like my mum's fish pie. Thanks. There we go, the mash for that one. Fish pie ingredients. Reminds me of home.
We went up the longest staircase in the world, according to the kids, but they were rewarded with a park.
So it's like it's all magical because it's foreign, but basically we just went to bog standard, like, you know,
M&S food hall.
A bit like M&S food hall equivalent. Now we just found a random playground in some corner of the town.
It's funny that what is normal and bog standard to the people who live here is deeply fascinating and appreciated by tourists. Even the dog park was a source of fascination. And this view. Eric found beauty in other things.
That thing over there, that big clumpy shape, that's a climbing frame. It's a truncated dodecahedron. So there's lots of different main protonic solids, which is octahedron, cube, tetrahedron, dodecahedron, and icosahedron. Dodecahedron's my personal favourite. We saw an icosahedron flame earlier. The football is a truncated icosahedron, and this is a truncated dodecahedron, a dodecahedron with the corners chopped off.
We also used the slide for some static electricity experiments. Eric's favourite fruit is pomegranate, so this was a special moment indeed. We were going to go to the Guggenheim Museum, but the kids found something that interested them more.
Wow!
This one's an elephant!
We were in there for a good 40 minutes and they all got a new cube to keep them occupied. And then on to the ice cream shop. These ones are all thanks to Stoney, Rob, Topperman, Kelvin, Bill and Lou and the Anderson clan. If you would like to buy us an ice cream, you can do so on Ko-fi. Click the link here or find it in the video's description. And on with the tour. The next day and more exploring. Spain has kids' play parks and exercise parks all over the place.
They know, it has got cubic symmetry.
You don't need to spend a lot of money to enjoy the city. This cable car river bridge thing was the biggest expense of the day, £2 return each. It was a novelty indeed. Apparently they have them in the UK too. Being on the other side gave us new things to explore. They seem to have a lot of statues of strong men pushing things strongly, and I'm always amazed to see citrus fruit growing on trees. We left Bilbao after 3 nights and headed to Santander. En route, we filled up with diesel. We couldn't believe that this was October, but then this is why we're heading south. We sailed all day and arrived in the dark. The anchorage we headed for was right next to the runway, so we had to radio tower control for permission.
Esperance Roger, once the aircraft has landed, you're clear to cross the runway. Please call me back once crossed.
Tower, this is Esperance. Once the aircraft has landed, we will cross the runway and we will let you know when we've cleared.
When you arrive somewhere in the dark, there's nothing more exciting than waking up to see exactly where you are. I told you we were close to the runway. We had friends coming to visit and they would be arriving at this airport the very next day. However, when we woke up...
Our friends are due today to come to this airport here on a plane, but as you can see, there's a lot of fog. And the 2 planes that are supposed to come today have been diverted. Dun dun dun! Luckily, the sun is evaporating the clouds, so I think they'll be able to come. Half an hour before their plane is due, it's clear. There's only a bit of fog that way, but this way's clear. And that's all they need to know about. They need to go that way to get on the ramp. Yeah! Yeah!
And there they are. The first plane of the day that hadn't been diverted. We jumped into the dinghy and rowed ashore to collect them. Miriam, our friend, speaks fluent Spanish, so we put her to work straight away, translating, as when we landed the dinghy, we were greeted by a very lovely and enthusiastic Spanish man called Louis, who couldn't do enough for us. He told us not to leave the boat on the shore, but just to come and use his private jetty. He even offered to drive us to the supermarket if we needed. We also got Miriam to order our lunch.
Yeah. But more like potato and chips.
Just potato. This is like...
When we were back at the boat, Miriam and Stuart presented us with all the stuff that we'd asked if they wouldn't mind bringing from England.
Look, it's Christmas! They've given us, they've got all the things!
Sorry.
Hugh Scott, where's your tank gauge, Hugh?
It's the thing I'm most excited about. We've got a gauge for the tank, and it's so cool because that's going to come up and look at this bit where it says no tanks found. By next week, or maybe next year, we'll have this wire here. This thing goes up and down on a float and gives a resistance reading onto these 2 cables. We can plumb straight into that, and we can program, and it can tell us how much water we have.
The rest of the day was a bit miserable, so we just played board games and had a catch-up. The following day was also miserable, but we went off to explore the city. We met Louis. He said it was his day off, but he had come down especially to let us out of the private mooring. He asked us what time we'd be back, and he would be there. He also helped us to locate the bus stop. At one point, I thought he was going to come with us to show us around the city. Despite the heavy rain, it was still a nice place to explore.
He loves this. This is your kind of cake.
Yeah.
Look at this.
not a good mood. It's worse here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I've made it worse.
Soaked and bedraggled, we sought refuge for lunch.
There's always some weird things Mum doesn't like that everyone.
Yeah.
It's quite nice,
Kind of
actually.
tuna he's
Oh, it's
made.
nice.
Bread. Is that your first?
We took the road less travelled as we couldn't be bothered to go back and take the proper route. Genius. Another free activity, outside escalators. And back to meet Louis, who had brought with him a huge bag of goodies for the kids. He got our vote for the nicest man in Spain.
Llega a casa, está Javier en casa.
You can
¿Por
smell
qué?
it
Porque
because he
huele,
smells of chocolate.
la ropa huele a de no sé qué, de no sé cuánto. Mira, estos riquísimos. Estos me gustan hasta a mí estos yo también, mira.
They're his favourites.
Yeah, his favourites, okay.
Me gustan hasta a mí.
Bye, Louis.
Smiley face.
This is beard, this is his mouth, this is his nose, this is his eyes, and his mouth.
I felt really stubborn.
The next day, we moved anchorages, so we radioed air traffic control, and they told us that we could pass after the plane had taken off. We anchored next to the beach and we took the dinghy ashore. Hugh was teaching online on the boat, so the rest of us went ashore for tea until he was finished. Being British, these kids didn't mind the chilly evening, and it didn't stop them having a great time splashing in the sea.
Alright, it's bedtime aboard Esperance. We are anchored just outside the city of Santander. We can hear a snap, crackle and a pop. I was hearing it when I was sorting out the anchor upstairs. And then just before bed, Miriam came over and said, "Can you hear that snap, crackle and pop? Is that normal?" And I tried to guess what it was. I was like, is it like, because we're just getting into the tide. I didn't know if it was like sand against the hull. Some of you already know, don't you? Some of you are like going, "Oh yeah, it's this Hugh." So, gave it a quick Google, snap, crackle and pop on a hull side. And that's like literally what people call it. And yeah, it sounds like, just like that, like fire crackling, but it's apparently pistol shrimps. So I don't know if they're against the hull of the boat or they're under the water, like on the seabed, which is 5 meters below us. But anyway, they are one of the loudest sounds. 216 decibels is the loudest noise recorded. 216. That's like that would deafen us if it was here next to me here. That would deafen us. They basically pull back their claws and then they let the muscles just a bit like a crocodile's jaws, and then that expose up to 60 mile an hour bubbles which stun their prey. It's like an air gun basically, but also the heat generated at that moment at the intense spot is apparently hot, like 4,000 Celsius something, and hot as the surface of the sun. Kelly's trying to sleep. She's really excited. I've come in here bounding in to tell her all about pistol shrimps.
The next day, we finally got some sun, so took full advantage. Another contender for the nicest man in Spain. It was €4 per person on this train, under fours go free. He looked at all the kids and he said, "They look under 4 to me," so we only had to pay for the adults. We learnt a bit more about the island through our headsets. Apparently, this house and gardens had been modelled on the Isle of Wight. This lighthouse has been photographed with 12-metre waves crashing over it in a storm.
What are you doing here?
Just getting every single fact I can for my £5 train ticket.
We took the train back down and found a free zoo, which Miriam and Stuart had actually visited before on their honeymoon.
No, that was an indicator to staying still.
I couldn't help notice that just over the wall was their natural habitat, a bit like that scene in Finding Nemo. These ships were replicas of voyage vessels that had been across the Atlantic, including this strange-looking vessel. Miriam's secret recipe dish, guacamole. Secrets now passed on to Tilly, who has made it for us numerous times. The last day, and we finally got our water and beach day. Let go! But like all good things, all too soon it came to an end. We loved having you guys stay. Come again soon.